So we came from the east, had to go to war just for me to find peace. Fuck the police, they got the mark of the beast. I'm on 125th, you can see me in the streets. Seen a nigga teacher fell in love with a priest, and a rush for the bread like we ain't got yeast. Put studs on my garment, now I'm late to the feast. I'm a Wild West nigga, you can check the receipts. Ask me where I'm from, so we came from the
deprived
east.
of my innocence by shit I was exposed to. Everything I did I was supposed to. Suppose you was poor living with the heat off. SSI paying bills, mama like how she gon' feed y'all? Couches we go to sleep on, bad water on stoves. Light bill overdue, it get cold, open the stove. Comcast get cut off and cutting it right back on. Noticed it coming home, notices on the door. 30 days till you big U-Hauls, Motel 6, stay a couple of days, move in with a family friend. Promises for the first to pay you back on the third. Search for another house, they put our shit on the curb. Never uttered a word, came from a broken home. Mama was never there, my pops was a rolling stone. Nothing was ever given, they say you get what you give. Had to go through what I went through, they give you
So
what I
we
lived.
came from the east, had to go to war just for me to find peace. Fuck the police, they got the mark of the beast. I'm on 125th, you can see me in the streets. Seen a nigga teacher fell in love with a priest, and a rush for the bread like we ain't got yeast. Put studs on my garment, now I'm late to the feast. I'm a Wild West nigga, you can check the receipts. Ask me where I'm from, so we came from the east.
Now I'm downtown Oakland, I'm just holding posts. I'ma do this shit forever, cause it's all I know. Yeah, I'm in this shit deep, I gotta hold my nose. Went and put on all black, yeah, I joined the code. At the table with wise men, I'm just taking notes. Fuck the beast, kill the body, but can't kill the soul. Get with your brothers, never leave and never break that oath. Hardest thing to do is go to him alone. Build a zone for my brick in like Craig did. UBK, look, I'm airy where the reds is. Same serpent in the garden, they just shed skin. Gotta go to war to find peace, yeah, that's real shit. I seen the Lord take a spirit from men, and without this brotherhood, I end up like them. Look, there's wisdom behind these battle scars. Circle small, cause ain't no telling what these cowards
So
on.
we came from the east, had to go to war just for me to find peace. Fuck the police, they got the mark of the beast. I'm on 125th, you can see me in the streets. Seen a nigga teacher fell in love with a priest, and a rush for the bread like we ain't got yeast. Put studs on my garment, now I'm late to the feast. I'm a Wild West nigga, you can check the receipts. Ask me where I'm from, so we came from the east.
Leviticus 20 and 26, and ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people. God severed you, black man, from other people. You got no business joining the white man. You was brought here for slavery, now time of slavery is up. You're supposed to be in the ghetto helping black people. You're supposed to be getting them off of drugs, stopping the crime, re-educating them. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Instead, you a jungle monkey for the white man. Right. You march down 6th Street begging the white man for your own civil rights.
Came from the east.
White man hijacked your civil rights movement. You running down 6th Street begging him to be part of it. When God said, I separated you from other people, man. Why you think black people don't love each other? You gave all your love to the white man.
Well, it is, right?
That's why you can't love each other.
Well, it is. Right.
White man looking at you like, what the hell is these black people's problem? Your problem is you done gave all your love to them, and you left none for your own. And let me tell you what else you do. You hate anybody that speak about your cause. Nobody, black people don't hate nobody more than a black man that speak on their behalf. They hate him the most. That's why you killed Christ. You killed Christ because Christ wanted to give you the kingdom of heaven. You said, oh, hell no. We sticking with the Romans. That's why it said in the Bible, you said, we have but one king, and Caesar is his name.
It's so soulful. So beautiful. You know what it is. So we came from the east, had to go to war just for me to find peace. Fuck the police, they got the mark of the beast. I'm on 125th, you can see me in the streets. Seen a nigga teacher fell in love with a priest, and a rush for the bread like we ain't got yeast. Put studs on my garment, now I'm late to the feast. I'm a a one West nigga, you could check the receipts. Ask me where I'm from, so we came from the
deprived
east.
of my innocence by shit I was exposed to. Everything I did I was supposed to. Suppose you was poor and living with the heat off. SSI paying bills, mama like how she gon' feed y'all? Couches we go to sleep on, bad water on stoves. Light bill overdo it, get cold, open the stove. Comcast get cut off and cutting it right back on. Noticed it coming home, notices on the door. 30 days till you Vic U-Hauls, Motel 6. Stay a couple of days, move in with a family friend. Promises for the first to pay you back on the third. Search for another house, they put our shit on the curb. Never uttered a word, came from a broken home. Mama was never there, my pops was a rolling stone. Nothing was ever given, they say you get what you give. Had to go through what I went through to give you
So
what I
we came
lived.
from the east, had to go to war just for me to find peace. Fuck the police, they got the mark of the beast. I'm a 1-2-5, you can see me in the streets. Seen a nigga teach you, fell in love with a priest. In a rush for the bread like we ain't got yeast. Put studs on my garment, now I'm late to the feast. I'm a one West nigga, you can check the receipts. Ask me where I'm from, so we came from the east.
Now I'm downtown Oakland, I'm just holding posts. I'ma do this shit forever, cause it's all I know. Yeah, I'm in this shit deep, I gotta hold my nose. Went and put on all black, yeah, I joined the code. At the table with wise men, I'm just taking notes. Fuck the beast, kill the body, but can't kill the soul. Get with your brothers, never leave and never break that oath. Hardest thing to do is go to him alone. Build a zone for my brick in like Craig did. UBK, look, I'm area where the reds is. Same serpent in the garden, they just shed skin. Gotta go to war to find peace, yeah, that's real shit. I seen the Lord take his spirit from men, and without this brotherhood, I end up like them. Look, there's wisdom behind these battle scars. Circle small, cause ain't no telling what these cowards
So
on.
we came from the east, had to go to war just for me to find peace. Fuck the police, they got the mark of the beast. I'm a 1-2-5, you can see me in the streets. Seen a nigga teach you, fell in love with a priest. In a rush for the bread like we ain't got yeast. Put studs on my garment, now I'm late to the feast. I'm a one West nigga, you can check the receipts. Ask me where I'm from, so we came from the east.
Leviticus 20 and 26. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people. God severed you, black man, from other people. You got no business joining the white man. You was brought here for slavery. Now time of slavery is up. You're supposed to be in the ghetto helping black people. You're supposed to be getting them off of drugs, stopping the crime, re-educating them. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Instead, you a jungle monkey for the white man.
Right.
You march down 6th Street begging the white man for your own civil rights.
Came from the east.
White man hijacked your civil rights movement. You running down 6th Street begging him to be part of it. When God said, I separated you from other people, man. Why you think black people don't love each other? You gave all your love to the white man.
Well, it is. Right. Right.
That's why you can't love each other.
Well, it is. Right.
White man looking at you like, what the hell is these black people's problem? Your problem is you done gave all your love to them. And you left none for your own. And let me tell you what else you do. You hate anybody that speak about your cause. Don't nobody, black people don't hate nobody more than a black man that speak on their behalf. They hate him the most. That's why you killed Christ. You killed Christ because Christ wanted to give you the kingdom of heaven. You said, oh, hell no. We sticking with the Romans. That's why it said in the Bible, you said, we have but one king, and Caesar is his name.
Israel, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, under commanding General Yohana, presents the Lord's 55th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 55th Annual Passover is rapidly approaching. Commanding General Yohana is calling for all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to remember what the Lord did for us by saving us from our oppressors and choosing us to be a special people unto Him, the real Jews and Israelites. Passover will be held in Durham, North Carolina. Pay your Passover fee. Anyone 17 years of age or older must pay $200. Come and enjoy fresh lamb, unleavened bread, and the Spirit of Christ. Can't wait to see you all there, Israel. Shalom.
gathered on streets and corners, all is feeling righteous. Real particular, nobody else there to compare to. Train for war, men of war, and warlike apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us.
Is
Shalom, shalom, Israel. Can everybody hear me all right? Let me know if y'all can hear me okay. Let me know if y'all getting any feedback. Trying some different equipment out. So y'all let me know if there's any feedback, any issues like that. All right. Y'all just give me a heads up. All right. Give me 1 second. All right. All right, everybody can hear me all right. Most time correct. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group or any other Christian organization. All right. Tonight is our history class. History, as we always say, is extremely, extremely important. Deuteronomy 32:7 is extremely important that we remember the old days, remember the past generations that our foremothers and forefathers went through, so we can learn from their mistakes, and we can get the Most High back on our side by following the law, statutes, and commandments. This is extremely important, as is this history class. All right. All right. So before we get too far into it, let's see who we got in the building. Let's see. Oh, Salaki. Let me get a courtesy salute to the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbarakatham. And to the sisters, Shalom, Yahweh Shamar Alathan, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right. Let's see. Okay. Get myself together. All right. All right. Most time correct. All right. We got Sister Nizam Anah is in the building. Good to see you, sis. Good to see you. All right. Sister Aisha is in the building as well. Shalom, sis. My Rev, Sister Aya is in the building. Shalom, good to see you. Well, I say good to see you. Salaki. Salaki. My brother Yagadar is in the building. Good to see you, brother. All right. All right. Let's see. You got brother Kushar is in the building. Good to see you, brother, as well. Mr. Kenyessa. All right. Brother Kazaki is in the building. Most High in Christ. Good to see you, troop. All right. Yana is in the building out of Charles City. Most High in Christ. All right. We got Sister Tawana in the building as well. Shalom, sis. Good to see you. Did that come up? Wait a minute. There we go. Good to see you, sis. All right. Before we get too far into it, let's just y'all let me know who had a good Easter yesterday. Salaki. Y'all let me know who went Easter egg hunting. Y'all tell me who had Easter baskets and painted eggs. Y'all let me know. Yeah, that's the Bible say confession is good for the soul. Y'all gonna get it. Gonna get it. Salaki. Salaki. Right. You should crack it up. Right. Right. Since Ryan said the heathens did, they definitely did. They definitely enjoyed that pagan holiday. We're gonna get into some of that. It's only right. It's only right. All right. We're gonna get into some of that, and as y'all can see by the title, if you had checked the title out, we're gonna get into some other things as well. Who knows what a BGLO is? Who is familiar with that acronym? Who can tell me what that is? Put that in the chat. And it's not the alternative lifestyle. Who has any idea what that stands for? Let's see. Who knows what that stands for? BGLO. Y'all get about to say, well, y'all take a little time. I mean, y'all Googling. That's all right, so I ain't necessarily mad at it. BGLO. Who can tell me what that is, what that stands for? Let's see. You people see you got a like on Facebook. Okay, no time for it. Let's make sure we remember to like, share, and subscribe the video. Select the class, the YouTube video. This is Amanasa to be black later on. All right, not Chris. All right. Sister Nas in the building. Lam, Yahweh Shabbat, Abba Hashem, Yahweh Shai Sis. Who else wants to give it a shot? There you go. Give Sister Deanna a hand. Black Greek letter organizations. The first two words are complete oxymoron. All right, but we're going to get into some of the history and how these organizations have affected our communities. Like, of course, over this past weekend, okay, my screen is frozen. Can y'all still see it now? Now it's moving again. I know my camera be acting out. Can everybody see? Is it moving okay? Y'all give me a one west if it's moving okay, or y'all let me know if it's not. All right. Um, but over the weekend again, when these weekends, when these pagan holidays, when this wicked society holidays come and go, I tend to not like to be online as much. I like to go on to Facebook or Instagram or okay, I was frozen. All right. Huh. All right, we might have to switch something up. Everybody said it's frozen. All right. I'll ask that question. No time for it. Can hear you, but it's frozen. All right, we're gonna try something. Let's try a little something. I don't know what it is. And does it look like it's just kind of chipping through pictures at this point? 'Cause that's what it looks like on my end. It's kind of chopping through stills. Let's see. I think we may have to make some changes here. All right, all right. We're gonna make some changes. Just give me 1 second. Oh, Salaki. All right. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. We're gonna see what happens. My virtual backgrounds aren't working. Everything is but that's all right. The oppressor devil the Bible speaks of, and we're gonna keep it moving. All right, we just don't got no background tonight. No time for that. So Lucky, I have lost my complete train of thought, but hopefully y'all can hear and see me okay. Let me get a one. If everything looks a little bit better now, even though we don't have a background, y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. If everything look all right. All right, I got on one left. No time credit. Lucky, I've lost my whole train of thought, but I think I was saying I stay offline when these pagan holidays come up because everybody all over social media, so many of our people who are not in the truth, the only ones who do this are the ones that are not in the truth, not in the school. You share all of their, pagan celebrations, all the like I said, the Easter eggs and the going, getting up for sunrise service and all of this nonsense. And the week before that, my timeline was filled. Apparently, Virginia State University, their pledge lines must have, how they phrase it, crossed over. That must have happened the week before that. So it was like 2 straight weeks of absolute nonsense. All right. So anybody is in class who has pledged outside of it, you probably not gonna like this class. All right. Probably not gonna like this class. All right. If you are, well, you'll see how it plays out. All right. But that is exactly what BGLO stands for, Black Greek Letter Organization. All right. But let's start with so-called Easter. Let's get that nonsense out of the way. Who can tell me? I know y'all know because y'all the sharpest students in Israel. Who can tell me what that celebration has to do with? Because it has nothing to do with Christ. What the Christian church teaches our people is that it is the recognition and the celebration of Christ's resurrection. Now, nowhere in the Bible does Christ say to celebrate his resurrection. Nowhere in the Bible does the Most High say to celebrate Christ's resurrection. None of that's in there. And yet the Christian church absolutely doesn't. All right. Who can tell me what it actually has to do with? Again, Salaki, if you've been in these classes or you are in the school and you are well aware that that is a celebration of a pagan god, who can give me that pagan god's name? There are several. They all ties back to the same so-called deity, a false god. All right. Who can give me some perspective on what that is? And I tell you what, and even more so, this is the funny part because most so-called Christians are fully aware that Easter has nothing to do with Christ. They're fully aware of that. It doesn't, again, even if you were not necessarily in the truth, you can figure out real quick that bunnies don't lay eggs, and neither one of those have anything to do with Christ. But that is not difficult to figure out, right? And so, matter of fact, while y'all are getting that name, getting the name of the God that they're actually worshiping, who can also tell me what they have attempted to change this celebration to? The Christian church has attempted, especially the Black Christian church, but it goes across the whole gamut. They have attempted to redefine and rename it. Who can tell me what that name is? Who can tell me what that name is? All right. Give Sister Tawana a hand. Each three, I think that's the goddess of fertility. Now, the goddess of fertility is absolutely correct. All right. That is one of the names. Another name is Ishtar. Another name is Eostre, something like that. So why would there be multiple names for this same so-called god or goddess? There y'all goes. Your sister Deanna in hand as well. Ishtar, correct. Goddess of fertility. Sister Raya in hand. Yospek. Exactly. Why would there be all of these names? Have we ever thought about why there are multiple names for these same deities, so-called deities? Has anybody ever considered why that's the case? I'll give you another one. You may all we all may all be aware that I want to say you have Zeus in one culture, Edomite culture, and I want to say Jupiter is another one. It's kind of his counterpart, same deity, just got a different name. Has anybody ever thought about why that is? Has anyone ever thought about why that is? And how is it we got to this space that we are in, where there are multiple names for the same so-called god or goddess of this oppression? Who wants to give it a shot? Who wants to give it a shot? I believe we've gone into kind of how these things originated and how they folded into um, so-called Christianity and how Christianity twists the scriptures in the Bible. For the sake of time, I just give it to y'all. What you had was when Christianity became the state religion of land, right? You had all these pagan worshipers. They had all of these, and over time there were multiple nations like that. Um, all Edomites, but still multiple nations in there, right? And they all had multiple deities. Odin is another one. Anybody who likes the Marvel and the DC stuff, you got Thor. Well, Thor's father was Odin. Odin was the big deity there. He was the strongest, you know, deity in that culture because all of those Edomites had similar cultures with just different names. So they all had some king god. They all had some fertility goddess. They all had they all have sun worship. They all had all of it. And so um, when they begin to fold that into Christianity and pervert the scriptures of the Bible, then it became we have these different um, celebrations for our different gods. Well, we'll merge them because all of them were very similar anyway. They're very similar anyway. Who's familiar with why? Um, who's familiar with the connection between eggs and rabbits? Who can tell me that? There's a connection between eggs and rabbits. You all are absolutely right as far as fertility is concerned. But why eggs and rabbits? Sister I is correct. Give her a hand. It made it easier for everyone to accept. Exactly. Because what the method was, hey, you can keep doing everything you're doing. All the practices, all the rituals, all the celebrations, all the events that you have to every other deity, you can keep doing. We're just gonna say it's about Christ now. You can keep doing that same stuff. We're just gonna give it to Christ now, right? Which is why you have to have a Trinity, because even as much as Christians say that there's one God, they really have three of them. That's what the Holy Trinity is. It is three in one, which makes absolutely no sense. They want to make Christ schizophrenic. So like, surprised at Easter, Easter was about new life, the egg, but she normally depicted with a rabbit beside her. That is absolutely correct. New life because it came in the spring time, so it became this. They're different practices and rituals that they used to do. One I heard was that you take the eggs and then put them in the dirt so that their hooks could come up because there was all this magical power. There were all these different practices, and she's absolutely right. It was about the new life, springtime, crops are coming, agriculture, all of that. But these things were ritualistic idolatry. This is the worship of that goddess. All right. So the sister said, but she was normally depicted with a rabbit beside her. Why would that be? Why would that be? What would be the importance of or the relevance for a rabbit? There's a very easy answer. Anybody? There's slang. It talks about rabbits and how they conduct themselves. Very well put, Sister Tawana. She's absolutely right. Because of how rabbits procreate. And when she says how, what she means is the speed at which they procreate. Your sister and she put it a different way, but she was absolutely correct. Because of how they get busy. We've all heard the term, acting like rabbits. Especially, listen, if you grew up in the country, you definitely heard that. I don't know if that was a city term, but it definitely was one in the country where my father's people was from. They definitely, you were, there you go, Lucky. There you go. Hence, like a jackrabbit. Correct. 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 That's absolutely accurate. Y'all are all on it. I absolutely did say slang. You are correct. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Rabbits are very fertile. They are very fertile. They are very fertile. And they are constantly making smaller rabbits. They are constantly making smaller rabbits. So this is essentially about sex. That's what it is. The rabbit has a lot of sex and they make a lot of small rabbits. All right. And so what? Oh, that was the other question. Nobody's put in the chat yet for me. I don't think anybody has said it. Let me go back and check. How has the Christian church tried to rename Easter? I don't think I see it in here. Not yet. How has the Christian church attempted to rename Easter? And while y'all are getting that, I'm going to share this real quick just so y'all have some perspective that Officer Matala and these sisters are not making all of this up. All right. Anytime you want to Google any of this information, you can absolutely find it. All right. Let's see. Hopefully, we are moving okay right now. Hopefully, we will continue to do so. All right. I know y'all can't see it, but y'all know what it is. All right. I might be able to bring it up. This says eggs have been associated with various pagan festivals that relate to spring and fertility. Pagan celebrations were held to honor the arrival of spring and resurgence of life in nature. Eggs were often incorporated into these festivities as a representation of fertility, which is associated with the changing season. Therefore, eggs originate in the pagan tradition. It's very, very clear. There's really not a whole lot of debate about it, right? And now the people are starting to be more aware of that, as Sister Aya said, and Sister Anat as well. Y'all give them a hand. Christians have attempted, now they're starting to change the verbiage. It's no longer Easter, it's Resurrection Sunday. We got the same Easter baskets. We gonna hide these eggs. We gonna go Easter egg hunting. We gonna give Pete's, I think is what they call. We gonna listen. There's gonna be candy flying everywhere, but it's Resurrection Sunday. Now, none of that other stuff has anything to do with Christ. Again, nowhere in the Bible was it commanded that we celebrate Easter or Christ's resurrection. But that's exactly what the Christian church will continue to do and call it Resurrection Sunday, which again, we know it makes it easier for people to continue in their wickedness. And so the sister said earlier, and Sister Nas as well, resurrection of Christ. That's what they tie it to directly now. It's not Easter, it's Resurrection Sunday. And listen, they feel absolutely justified in that. They feel absolutely justified. It's not Easter. This is Resurrection Sunday. I guess you're going to get a resurrection basket and you're going to hand out some resurrection eggs. And we're going to go resurrection. I don't understand. Because after that name, it's Easter. It's Easter all day. Anastasis, correct. Absolutely. The Greek god Anastasis. So here is what, again, the Christian church is just like they did in the past, adjusting these to make them more palatable for people to accept. And you know what? That only brings down one people, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because we are not Greek. That is not our practice. That is not what we are supposed to be doing. Precept. Why? Why is it that we should not be doing these things? There are a million of them. Who can give me one? You don't even necessarily. Well, yeah, I don't like it. Who can give me a precept on why? On why we should not be celebrating Easter? Who can give me a precept on it? And like I said, there are a ton of them all throughout the Bible. Is that the one I want? No, it's not the one I want. Let's see who can. Lucky. All right. All right. This is Brother Tony. It's like the worship of another God. Exactly. It's like the worship of another God. As a matter of fact, it's not like the worship of another God. It is the worship of another God. And that's the part. I'm so glad you said it, because this is the part where our people get it twisted. You get it twisted as if give Sister Aya a hand. Give Sister Aya an absolute hand. Exodus 20:3. She's absolutely correct, and we're gonna pull that in 1 second. Good night. I can't. I'm gonna pull your in a second, Sister. Not good night. Um, to the Brother Tony's point, Eater of Worlds. This is how our people continually just absolutely fooled and given this strong delusion that, well, it's not the worship of another God, it's like the worship of another God. I read something, it was earlier today, an article saying, well, you can't accidentally praise another God. What? And if you have to have the mindset in order to be actually doing it. Now, we all know Jeremiah 10 talks about not putting a Christmas tree in your house, because that is the praise and the worship of another God. But there's this weird perspective that the Christian church is teaching that, well, if you're not purposefully doing it, then it's not the same thing. You can't accidentally worship another God. You can't accidentally follow the law, statutes. No, I shouldn't say that. Let me take that back. That's not true. All right. We have to be purposeful about following the law, statutes, and commandments. That's what we should be doing. And y'all are on it with these precepts tonight. Somebody been looking at my notes. Lucky. So right, let's get to Exodus 20:3 as well. Officer Yagadar pulled that as well. Y'all are absolutely correct. All right, Salaki. I want to take that down first. Salaki, I'm gonna get to it though, sister. Now we gotta get to that one. This mess is crazy. All right. Let's see. I'll make this larger. Write this down. All right. Says in the power spake all these words, saying, I am the most high thy power. which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. This is Exodus again. We are out of bond, as it says, out of the house of bondage. And for the record, Egypt, that's what it means, the house of bondage, which is why when you go to Deuteronomy 28 and 68, talks about us going back into Egypt again with ships that is back into bondage, that is the transatlantic slave trade, as well as the North Kingdom being taken off into captivity as in the Bible. All right. It's lucky. I'm the most high thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. You came out of Egypt because of me. Understand that, right? And I brought you out of bondage, out of the house of bondage. Verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. It's very simple. Don't have any other gods before me. So when you go and you practice and you do these things, there is no, well, I wasn't doing it on purpose, but you did it. And you know how? You know that on some level you know you're wrong because the Most High didn't tell us to do it. Nowhere in the Bible does it talk about handing out Easter eggs. Does it talk about hiding Easter eggs? Does it talk about any goddess of fertility? Does it even say to celebrate Christ's resurrection? None of that is in there. So here's a great question for anybody who has who might be having a conversation with any Christian. Ask them, out of all the high holy days in the Bible, all the celebrations in the Bible that are there, which does the Christian church participate in? Because the answer is absolutely none. Absolutely none. All right. We're gonna get to the rest of these precepts real quick. I've been holding Sister Anna's comment because this is hilarious. She said some preachers were preaching it is a resurrection of a new you. Good night. Everybody's new. Everybody's new. And here's the deal too, because to her point, they're trying to twist it even more, twist the message even more, right? So now it's about the resurrection of Christ. Well, but that's a new Christ. But is it though? Is it though? Christ was resurrected. He wasn't reborn. I would say that's different. That egg is a new chicken. You know what I mean? When you're talking about fertility and the new season coming up, no, that's new. That's newness in nature. Christ was resurrected as Christ, so that doesn't even make sense. But they are trying everything. Who knows the truth of coloring eggs? Real quick, while I pull this next precept, and Officer Yagadar is absolutely on it as well. Edith World says so true, absolutely. Who can tell me the history of coloring eggs? And there's no one direct answer. That's the only answer because again, you have multiple nations, multiple communities, or whatever you want to call it. There was different sub nations within Esau doing their own thing, but they were all coloring eggs. All right. Who has any perspective on what that might have been? All right. Deuteronomy 5 and 7 is what we're pulling next. Deuteronomy 5 and 7. Once again, this is the Most High talking. Now, the first one was in Exodus. Matter of fact, we can start at 6. First one was in Exodus. Same deal. I am the Most High thy power, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other God before me. It's very, very simple. None of this is rocket science. So, Sister Raya, she said, a Persian tradition, blood of Christ. This is what they've turned it into. This blood of Christ thing, I don't know. Now, and maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. I tell people all the time, I didn't grow up in the church. I was in the Christian church for a minute. All right. For a hot minute. I don't want that long. But I never heard anybody say that coloring the eggs represented Christ's blood. Y'all let me know. Was that something? Is that something new? Or is that something that has always been taught? Because that went through me. That went through me. You know, they color eggs for Christ's blood. Now, here's something else that you can find. Because a lot of these cultures and society were sacrificing children as as a worship of their god, and you can find different writings that say that they colored eggs with their blood after they were unlocked. That's where it comes from. You can also find, I read another article where it talked about coloring eggs and writing symbols on them and how those symbols had so much power for the next crop, the next season. And that's matter of fact, that's what it was. They would write all over these things and then they would put them in the dirt because that was meant that you were going to have this wonderful, harvest. And that was all to this deity. Now, I don't know how you do that and think you're not worshiping another god unless you just are doing it because you want to. And now you're coming up with this. Why I can't do it on accident. So who is familiar? So y'all let me know. I like I said, I didn't grow up in the church from a young child, but I don't think I ever remember when I was in the church and talking about coloring of eggs will represent Christ's blood. I don't recall that. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. Obviously, y'all also pulled Exodus 34 and 14. Let's get that one. Exodus 34 and 14. All right, Sister Nzama Nasa, she never heard that one. I had never heard that one. I had never heard that one either. But again, this lets you know the lengths to which they are going to change the narrative and still participate in these pagan holidays. Uh-oh. Maybe Sister Ryan heard something different. She said red represents the blood of Yahweh shed, yellow for the resurrection, and blue for love. Now, again, Sister Ryan, was this being taught when you were a young child in the church? Or is this something that you heard about more recently? And who, I mean, good night. Blue for love, that's never the case. So it's blue for love during Easter, but it's red for love during Valentine's. Oh my goodness. This is our problem. We don't know what we worship. That's practically a Samaritan way. We don't know what we worship. We have no idea. Okay. Awesome. Young and in the South. All right. Well, apparently it's not that. Let me ask you this new. Oh, so like, let me pull this verse real quick because I read another one today that threw me off. All right, this is Exodus 34 and 14. For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Most High, whose name is jealous, is a jealous power. Most High in Christ. Very, very simple. Don't tempt the Most High. He's jealous. Hey, He brought us out of bondage, gave us laws, statutes, and commandments, and told us if we followed them, we would be the highest nation on above all other nations on the earth, as He should be. Jealous if we follow another God. Like the only time we can boil my mama eggs was to eat them with salt and pepper until she got home. That's right, Christ. Outside of that, don't be touching my egg. I feel you. So let me ask another question, because this is another one I heard. That the egg of the shell of the egg represented the stone that was removed from Christ's tomb. Has anybody heard that one? I read that one today as well. It represents the stone that was removed from Christ's tomb. All in an attempt to make this pagan practice, which had been around for centuries before Christ was born, all in an attempt to make it acceptable. I said, like, I can't heard that one. But to be honest, if she hadn't heard that one, lucky. Listen to someone else. Right. Your present is the devil, the Bible speaks. So you are absolutely right. All of this in an attempt to get people to accept these pagan practices that have absolutely no place in the Bible. All right, let me see. Did we pull? Let's see. I have one more, I think. Oh no, that was another one. All right. Now some of these are going to kind of apply to both, but here's another one, and I believe it was Sister Aya who pulled this one last week. Jeremiah 10 and 2. Now we're not gonna go through the entire breakdown of that, but again, it still is applicable here. Jeremiah 10 and 2. And this is the reason, well, the fact that we shouldn't be following any other God and why Jeremiah 10 and 2 is very, very clear. It's very, very clear. Right. Now, the Most High already told you he had no other gods before him. He already told you he's jealous. Let's see what Jeremiah 10 and 2 says. Thus saith the Most High, learn not the way of the heathen. Learn not the way of the heathen. We are not, whatever they're doing as a practice, as a culture, as celebrating and worshiping their gods and idolatry and all that, we should not be doing that. The Most High is very clear. Whatever they're doing in reference to their gods, let them do that. Don't bring that over here. We've pulled that before. Anybody needs me to pull again, let me know. I believe that's in Deuteronomy 12, I believe. The Most High was very, very clear. All right. But we all know that. I mean, I didn't want to spend too much time on it, but obviously because of yesterday, we needed to address it. And again, if there are any questions or anything like that, y'all just make sure you put them in the chat, and we will get to them. But yes, this is something that we are not supposed to be doing. I've even heard people say, "Yeah, I don't talk to my children about Easter money. I talk to them about Jesus." And then we play with all the Easter stuff. What? You're still gonna go out and get them an Easter basket. You're still gonna color eggs. You're still gonna do the Easter egg hunt. You're still gonna do all that, but you're just gonna talk. You talk about how Christ was resurrected. And this is the problem with Christianity on our people. This is our problem. This is what continues to destroy us as a people. These other nations do not, they don't get the same, how do I want to phrase it? They don't have the same responsibilities that we have. That's just the truth. Who can tell me why? What's the precept for that? Anybody know? They don't have the same instructions. They can eat pork. They can eat they can eat pork. They can eat shrimp. They can eat crab. They can celebrate Christmas. They can celebrate Valentine's Day, Easter. They can do all of that. Right. Listening to Solomon Salaki and cook ham and eat seafood every day during Lent. We can do all of those things. We cannot. So-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, we don't get to do that. Who can tell me why? Blind followers, absolutely. Absolutely. And we brought that up before. The scriptures say, our people have a zeal for the Lord, but not according to knowledge. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. People have a desire and a zeal for the Lord, but not according to knowledge. We don't know what we're supposed to be doing and what we're not supposed to be doing. And then when we find out, now you got some hard decisions you got to make. Now you have to decide, do you love that ham and that seafood every Friday night, or do you love the Most High? Now you have to make a decision about whether you enjoy candy canes and Easter eggs, or do you love the Most High? Now you have to make a decision about whether you enjoy smoking those blacks and those cigarettes and that weed more than you love the Most High. Now you got some decisions you have to make. Once that knowledge is there, now you got something you got to do. And the water system is on for putting that preset back in the chat. I appreciate it. I'm gonna pull that one right after this. That's where I said Jeremiah 10 and 2. Not necessarily. I get what you're saying. Yes, that's true. It's not a bad scripture to pull, but just as it relates to your responsibility and where that is. Psalms 147 and 19. Psalms 147 and 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob. Anybody doesn't know, Jacob's name was later turned to Israel, and he is the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. All right. His statutes and his judgments unto Israel. We're talking about the same brother. Verse 20. He hath not dealt so with any other nation. The Most High did not give his laws, statutes, and commandments to any other nation than Israel. All right. As for his judgments, they have not known them. They don't know his judgments because they aren't special to the Most High. We are. It's just like when you have anybody out there who has children. When you have children, they are your children, and you give your laws to them. You give your rules to them. Why? Because you want them to be successful. You want them to grow up to be solid in the truth, but in the world. You want them to not be hurt. You want them to not get involved in gangs, not sell drugs, not be on drugs. You want them to not get caught up in people. Or you don't want your daughter to get raped. You don't want your son to be You don't want your daughter to be sexually assaulted. You don't want your son to be one that does that. You don't want your children caught up in the LGBT or the alternative lifestyle movement. You give all of these rules out of love for your children. And listen, I know I'm showing my age, but I know anybody around my age, don't care what happened when you were younger. You can come home and say, well, she get to do X, Y, and Z. His parents let him do it. Somebody tell me what your parents gonna say. When you didn't make the grade you were supposed to make on the test, well, everybody failed. Somebody tell me what your parents gonna say. When you out there acting a complete fool in the street and they find out, what are you doing out there? Well, we were all out there doing it. He just called me out. Right. Y'all on it? That's just not hilarious. But that is absolutely right. I did that. See, correct. That's what they're gonna say. That's what they're gonna say. But they're gonna follow it up. Slog it. This is what I said. Right, follow it up. But they're not mine. They're not. You're my child. I don't care what they do. And that's how the Most High feels about us. So those other nations can do all the wicked stuff that they want. We are required to follow the law, statutes, and commandments because that's what the Most High wants for us. All right. Let me pull Sister Nizamana precept Colossians 2 and 8. All right, Colossians 2 and 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. This is a great precept. Y'all get that, sister in hand. This is what the Christian church does. They were doing it then. The so-called religious leaders, the Sadducees and Pharisees, this is what they were doing then, and they're doing it now. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. What does it mean in that case to be spoiled? To be spoiled. Who can tell me? What does it mean in that case to be spoiled? Matter of fact, let me see if I can add that. I'm gonna pull that up as well. Absolutely. I'll get that sister at hand. Destroyed. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Yeah, we're gonna pull this up absolutely live. There we go. And again, this is what we do in ISUPK. This is why we are not affiliated with any other organization or the Christian church. We actually look up what the definition of words are because they matter. Words have definitions. The Christian church will glaze over a scripture, have no understanding what it means, but it sounds good when they're speaking about it. And so our people accept it. Again, this is a perfect precept. To damage seriously, to impair the quality or effect of, to impair the disposition or character of by overindulgence or excessive praise. It's when you are just keeping all this praise on your child and they really ain't all that. I mean, come on. You're going to spoil them by not humbling them. That's not the situation in this particular verse. That is also a good way to surmise it. That's what I said. Tricky to do whatever right or wrong. Absolutely, and that damages us seriously. Here, as we go down some more, to lose valuable or useful qualities, usually as a result of decay. All right. Practice plunder or robbery. Plunder taken from an enemy in war or from a victim in robbery. All right. And this you can look at this many different ways. They definitely destroy us, as Sister Nizam said. They definitely, as Sister I said, trick us into doing whatever, right or wrong. But we are also a spoil to these other nations. When it says a plunder taken from an enemy in war, we have enemies and we are at war. This is warfare. The Bible says the Most High is a man of war. This is warfare, and we are the spoil. So what ends up happening is our captivity, we're the spoil so much that it makes them greater because we're not following what we're supposed to be doing. We're not following the law, statutes, and commandments, and the result of that is in that we go in captivity to our enemies, and then they get the spoils of our nation. Which is why we covered a few weeks ago. There's all of these inventions that nobody knows black people made. Somebody else has benefited off of them for centuries and centuries. This is the spoil that it's talking about as well. So that's just absolutely correct. And pulling this precept. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. Philosophy is, listen, anybody who's ever been in the Christian church for any period of time, you know that pastor can get up there and boy, it can sound amazing. Like now that I'm in the truth, anybody who's been in the truth for any period of time, now you know it sounds delusional. And it absolutely is a strong delusion. When you are wrapped up in it, that sounds amazing. And them preachers have a way of giving you the exact same scripture and breaking it down a million different ways, depending on how they feel in that morning when they get up. Absolutely right. It's an Nzamana said motivational speech. Motivational speech. That's all it is. That's all it is. And here's the deal. feels good when you're sitting there. When the preacher tell you, oh, you're gonna have a breakthrough and it's gonna be your year, and so on and so forth. But remind you, as we say all the time in the UPK, them same preachers were saying that, December 2019 and January 2020, this was gonna be your year. And then as Commander General Yohana had been prophesying for years, COVID-19 came. No, this is not gonna be your year. This is not gonna be your year. But it sounded good when that preacher said it. And this is the delusion that they give us. This is the delusion. These are the vain deceits. Let me pull this back up. Salak. The philosophy and vain deceits that they give our people. All right. After the tradition of men. Now here's, again, give this sister a hand. All these Easter eggs, that ain't got nothing to do with Christ. That ain't got nothing to do with the Bible. That's something that some other nation, other man, it's their tradition. That's their philosophies. That's what they do for their God. We're not supposed to be doing that. After the rudiments of the world and not after facts. This is so specific. We're doing everything but following behind the world and not after Christ. She is absolutely correct. Let me see. Kwame Yashala, damn right. Tawan Khan, damn right. All right, Sister Zamana says, Salaki, I fell for it and came out the door the same way. I understand. I understand. We all did. We all did. And that's part of how we know who we are. We fall for these things. And then when we come in the truth, you realize, whoa, I was gone. But the scriptures say, though, we're going to wake up in the land of our captors. That's what the ISUPK is here for, to wake our people up. They be having them catchy sayings. Name it and claim it. Oh, listen, you talk about, you got to go through something to get through something. Hey, they got a whole list of them. And they sound great. They sound wonderful. It is an absolute drug. When you leave the Christian church on Sunday morning, when you are not in the truth, you don't know who you are, you don't get to teach in the priests and prophets of the Lord. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Everything is going to be great. Name it and claim it. You got to go through something to get to something. Hey, won't he do it? All of that. Never thinking about, we are absolutely following philosophies, vain deceit, and the traditions of men. And that has nothing to do with Christ, which is why the Christian pastors are the worst, because they should be knowing these scriptures. They don't tell their people. They don't tell the people of the Lord who they are and what we should be doing. No, because he want to make sure, one, you keep getting that money, right? I don't want to tell you nothing that you might not like. I need you to keep giving all these tithes here, all this payment. I need you to keep bringing that. So I don't want to make you upset. Plus, them Christian pastors are listen. Right? They're some of the most wicked people on the earth, and they got to be able to say, "Well, we all human at the end of the day." They got to be able to say that too. So I can't tell you what you cannot do, because I'm going to be, as a Christian pastor, just as wicked as you are. Because I said, go to the car lot and sit in the You ain't got enough money to get this. You can't afford the down payment. You can't afford the payment month. You can't afford the insurance. You can't afford none of that. But the Christian pastor is going to tell you to go down there and claim. He's going to tell you, now, here's the sad part. Here's the sad part. You can go to the right dealership and they give you anything you want. What was it? Drive time? They don't turn anybody down. It doesn't matter what they check credit no more. Right? So you can go down there and get anything you want. And when you drive, listen, when them Christians driving off the church, it's like it's driving off the lot. I claim, won't he do it? That's what they're gonna say. Like 2-3 months from now, when they come back and get that car and just resell it to somebody else, then it's gonna be terrible. Then it's gonna be reality. Now you got to deal with reality now. Good night. But she is absolutely right. They are salesmen of sin. Very well put. Very well put. Very well put. And if I took all right, Salaki. You might go over a little bit since we had the technical difficulties. Y'all keep rocking with me, y'all. Let me see. Where is that scripture? 2 Timothy. Leave it. 2 Timothy. That's not a verse, but I don't think that's it. No, that's not it. Y'all bear with me. I'm trying to get the description. When y'all talk about this so-called prosperity preaching and motivational preaching and salesmen of sin, y'all are absolutely right. Let me first. Help us, change the book. Then that's when you didn't tie another. Right. When you lose your car, that's because you put a man wrong God. Then that's why he doesn't let you keep that car because you're not sick or you're not tithing enough, and so on and so forth. And it's a lucky when the sister said they are salesmen of sin. Listen, woman, thou art loose. Leave your man. He's not coming to church. You don't need to worry about him. Go get you a better man. All of that is salesmen of sin. Don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments because it's done away with. That is a salesman of sin. You can eat whatever you want because it's not what goes in the man's mouth, but what comes out, which has nothing to do, when you read that in context, with unclean food. But the pastor's going to sell you that sin and tell you it's okay. That's exactly what he's going to do. I knew I should have got my notebook. Where is it? Maybe it's first. It must be first. Y'all bear with me. I'm gonna get this real quick. It's enough. Hey, it's the truth. Sister, not laughing. All of that. Them pastors give you all of the sin. You can do everything you want, except, as Sister Ryan said, except the time. When you're on time, well, there you go. That's why you lost your pay. You got to give me more money so you can keep the car. It's nice. All right, I'm gonna have to pull that one next class. It's not. I don't want to take up too much time. Oh, wait a minute. I might have got it. Here it is. First, Slovakian. 1 Timothy 6:3. 1 Timothy 6:3. Because if any man teaches otherwise, meaning other than the law, statutes, and commandments, other than what's in this Bible, other than the Old Testament that we're supposed to be following, and they were following as a people at this time. If any man teach otherwise and consent not to wholesome words, the right thing, who's teaching and telling you the truth of the Bible. If any man does this, it goes on. Even the words of our Most High, Yahweh Mashiach. Anybody goes against the word, the Old Testament, what you would chant, or the word that against Yahweh Mashiach, or Jesus Christ, as people call It's Salaki, that's the Lord, not the Most High. Salaki. And to the doctrine which is according to godliness. Wait a minute. If any man goes against that, where is it? Hold on. Salaki, that wasn't it. Salaki. All right, we got to keep moving. I got it in my notes, but my notes are not right here. I'm gonna get that for y'all though. Salaki. It wasn't on my list to pull tonight, but man, that's a good one. I think I have shared that before. So if anybody may have uh, it in their notes about not taking gain for godliness, that's the one I was looking for. All right, so let's switch gears. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about these. Talking about being Greek. So y'all give me some perspective on, because I was never one that was interested in joining any type of fraternity. It never made sense to me. All right. Y'all give me some perspective? Not that y'all necessarily feel this way, but what is some perspective um, on why we are so interested in joining these Black Greek letter organizations? Who can tell me? As a matter of fact, when y'all do that, I am going to pull the scripture. I had to get this line. Y'all let me know who has any perspective on that. Okay, so Lodge, I was at the right spot. Look, y'all know always got my back. The water, brother. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I was at the right spot. So like, you ahead. All right. Um, supposing the game is done. Where did I start at? Lucky. That's what I started earlier than I thought. Okay, so verse 3. The man teaches that and not the words of Yahweh Shah Mashiach, but to the doctrine according to his godliness. He is proud, knowing nothing. He is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words. Anybody does this who is not teaching the truth, he is proud and knoweth nothing. And strife about, but doting about questions and strifes of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmising. That's where all this comes from. Someone not knowing the truth, but attempting to do so, attempting to teach. All right. Verse 5, perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds. This is all what comes from attempting to teach the truth and not knowing it. All right. And destitute of the truth. Again, you don't have the truth. You're just out here teaching with being feigned. Supposing that gain its godliness. This is the part. This is what to teach all the time. If you are blessed, and if the Most High is with you, then you will clearly see it. If you're gonna have a new car, you're gonna have a new house, you're gonna have all these suits, you're gonna have all this money, you're gonna have all this jewelry. Everything is gonna be wonderful. So by comparison, if it's not, That means God don't love you. That means you clearly doing something that ain't right with God. And this is what the Christian church teaches all the time. This is their absolute mantra, which is why pastors have to be the richest and the flyest in every way. Because if they don't present themselves as such, based on their teaching, then something must be wrong with them. But let's see what the scriptures say about people who talk like that. At the end of verse 5, from such withdraw thyself. Anyone teaching that, get away, run, run. This absolutely addresses that motivational speaking and that prosperity preaching. Anybody who does that, get away. And again, all those churches do it. Coming to the ISUPK. All right. Under command of General Yohana to get trained. To get trained by these priests and prophets of the Lord. Okay, Sister Nizam said because they proclaim brotherhood and sisterhood of life, but it's not of God. That's why people I know, that's why people that you know join. Okay, no sweat. I want to get in a little more into that. Have you had a discussion with them since? What is the brotherhood? What is the sisterhood? I think I know your answer, but if you have, or if you do have an answer and perspective on it, let me know. Sister Anasa, because they think they're going to get good careers and better opportunities because they were in a fraternity. Okay? Sister Anna, are they correct or incorrect from your observation? Because you're not wrong at all. So the question is that correct? Meaning that I'm not, you're saying that's why they feel like they're going in. My question is, right, when I say, are you correct or they correct, is that what happens? Okay. This means I'm not the sinful nature feeds their lust. I think there's some truth in that as well, but how would we say that feeds their lust? Sir? Give me one or two examples, if you could. I want to make sure because here's the deal. Us as a people, um, there's often this perception that that sister is giving some answers. She said group sessions. I don't even know how I can clean that up. Sis. And drunkenness is absolutely correct. That's part of the so-called brotherhood and sisterhood. And if you listen, what I understand, you and we're gonna get into some of that. You are in a so-called fraternity as a brother, you that violence is on that list as well. Violence is on that list as well. They call it hazing, but that is also part of it. That's why I say they push brotherhood and sisterhood. They go if they go on an interview and the interviewer is the same group, they feel they get a little pass. All right, that's probably true. That's probably true. So let me see. I can ask this question. Is that brotherhood? And like we all know what brotherhood according to the Bible is, right? That's not. I don't want y'all to overthink this. Like I'm trying to get y'all a trick question. That's not what I'm trying to do. Is that brotherhood? Um if you are part of a particular fraternity or sorority, and someone comes in and they're part of that same group, and you give them um recommendation or what have you, is that brotherhood or sisterhood? Not a lot. Let's see. Slocky, slocky. Somebody sit this down and said not giving P. Diddy the game the accolade. First time, you're right. You're right. I cannot say you wrong. Sis. You are absolutely correct. That is absolutely not working. This announces a lot of black lawyers, doctors, judges, CEOs were in fraternities. Correct. Correct. Yes. So since we're Mr. Bernard's point, we're gonna get back to what they have to do to get in. Right. Here's the point. Right. And Senator, she's absolutely right. Here's what I want us to be thinking about, right? Because uh that sounds like it could be brotherhood or sisterly. Let's call it brotherly or sisterly, maybe not brotherhood. This Aisha said it's all about clout authority over people and satisfying their need of control. That is absolutely correct as well. And we're gonna get into some of that. Okay, Sister Raya said I doesn't fall in the law, statutes, and commandments. See, I knew I should have known I wasn't gonna be able to get that over on y'all. All right. Here's what I was looking for because I think it's a certain truth. You asked, but I know y'all sisters in here that students we have in here is too sharp for them. The people in the world think that's absolutely brother. We in this organization together. You're gonna look out for me. This that piece of it, right? Is that looking out for black people though? Because here's the deal: while you're creating all of these different groups, does everybody have an opportunity to get in those groups? Kind of like, of course, we know the answer is la. So who does get an opportunity to get in those groups? Because I think we can all agree it's not everyone. First and foremost, matter of fact, we can go back to Sister Anand's list. A lot of black lawyers, doctors, judges, CEOs, and senators. They all probably have a lot in common. One particular thing in common. I understand exactly what you meant, Sister Aisha. Don't sweat. All of those individuals have a lot in common. But no, I shouldn't say a lot. But there's one particular thing. All right, I'm gonna get y'all to step back a little bit because I know y'all on it. Y'all too sharp. Y'all are way too sharp. Sister I say ignorant brothers and sisters willing to follow another God and culture for a fancy jacket. All right, so here's what I want y'all to think about, right? In order to even let me rephrase. In order to even consider whether you want to join a fraternity, you have to be in college or have graduated from college. Nobody who doesn't either is not either in college or has graduated even has an option. So right then, you have decided. So right then, you have decided that as a black community, those who are educated, formally, get more benefit than those who are not. Off tops, that creates a divide. Now, here's why it's so heavy. Who can tell me about when you don't have to get the absolute date right, but who can tell me about when uh fraternities started popping up? Miss Riley said she didn't think about that part, the separation. Exactly. So now said, I think a lot of them that get into fraternities, were their parent wearing it also. Yes, that's true. That's true too. There might be a parent, there might be an aunt, an uncle, there could be a ton of people, right? Because when you do this, I don't know all the ins and outs, 'cause I never did. It never makes sense. You got to get letters of recommendation, and you got to fill out an application. There's money involved, and you got to fill out, how you did all this supposed community service. And you got to get this person to vouch for you, and there's a whole process. Okay, I understand why you say that, but there's a certain truth to that. The Black Greek letter organization started around, I want to say 1901, 1906, right? So think about even now, right? After Bill Cosby, they had the whole Cosby show where everybody, he was a lawyer, or she was a lawyer, everybody, all their kids went to college, and nobody had to pay for it. That made a ton of people go to college in the 80s and the 90s, right? College is the expectation to a certain extent now. But this was the early 1900s. We weren't in college like that. So why did they start these groups? Did they start up when HBCU became popular? Cosby Show time? No. Okay, Sister Raya, they started up way before then, back in the 1900s. Who can tell me why? Now think about what these organizations are. They're Greek letter organizations. This is the 1900s. If you were Black and you were afforded the ability to go to college, why might you need to start a Black Greek letter organization? The Freemasons are the same type of organization. Mr. King said that's a great question. It's the same type of organization. That as well, we got from the oppressor for the same reason. All right. That's right. You close enough. She said we were mimicking the oppressors again. Correct. Because here's what the situation was. You had brothers and sisters, particularly brothers, in college, dominantly or institutions. Obviously, Yagadah systems didn't want you involved in noise. Correct. There were no HBCUs at that point. These organizations started, I don't think they were. I'd have to go back and see when the earliest HBCU was. But the first one that was established, which I think Alpha Phi Alpha, and I believe it was established at a predominantly white institution, a white college. And it was because, the Officer Yagadah's point, to Sister Rahaya's point, they wanted to join the white organization and they said no. No. So what seems to make sense, well, we'll start our own then. Well, what was the problem? And it was the same with yes, he said the Freemasons, it was the same with that. If anybody's familiar with Prince Hall, the so-called Prince Hall chapter. Prince Hall was the first Black man to get a approval to start a Masonic chapter because he wanted to be involved with the oppressors group, and they said no. So he had to go and apply to say, hey, I want to start a Black group. But here's the deal. Y'all are absolutely right. This is Ryan here. That's the same with the Masons. This announcer, is it because white colleges have fraternities? Yes. That is how they began. Because they have fraternities, brothers wanted to get involved in them, and they said no. So then we started our own. And on the surface, this makes sense. Who can tell me the problem? Who can tell me the problem? We don't have. Y'all might be able to get it. I want to give y'all a couple minutes. Who can tell me the problem with how it was done? Who can tell me the problem with how it was done, how it was implemented? For the sake of time, I'm gonna give it to y'all. Let's see. And for the sake of time, I'm gonna give it to y'all unless I get an answer relatively quickly. I don't think I got it. No sweat. All right. The problem with all they did between now, since Aisha, you are absolutely right. I'm gonna come back to that point in 1 second. The problem that was all they did was mirror this organization. They didn't really come up with something that was ours. They just mirrored this organization. And as we talked about it before, the oppression of the devil, the Bible speaks of. Their nature is violence and group sessions and drunkenness and everything. And our people in college took that on. Now, Sister Aisha, the separation only would choose certain people. Oh, you mean that was how the way they did it was wrong. Now that's also true. It's also true, and that goes to my next point. If you weren't in college, you didn't graduate college, and you couldn't get into you didn't even have a chance, right? Who's heard of the talented? Who's heard of that term before? The talented. And if you have heard of it before, can you give me a quick synopsis of it? Correct. Sister Nas, correct. Following how the oppressors fraternities operate. Exactly. All of that wickedness that they do in there, people did it as well. And that's why they are structured the way they are. Absolutely. I appreciate it. Right. Alphas were the first fraternity at Cornell, which is a historically white institution, I believe. It was 1906. Their sister Aya had. Who's heard of the talented 10? Donna La'a. And if you have heard of it, if it's time, just give me a quick synopsis of your understanding. All right, no sweat. Sister Aya said, okay, we're going to go with it. All right, so we're going to pull this up real quick. Again, Zephaniah 2:1, when it says gather yourselves together, this is the exact opposite of what fraternities do for our people. It's just about everybody, and it says, who really invented the talented 10? Just about everybody knows, who knows anything about Black history. And Henry Du Bois learned that one of the most important concepts of the many that he defined was the talented 10. Many of us even committed to memory the first two sentences of perhaps his most famous essay, published in 1903. So this is before the fraternities were first organized. Keep that in mind, okay? In a book called The Negro Problem, edited by Du Bois' nemesis Booker T. Washington. This is a quote: "The race, like all races, the Negro race, like all races, was given to be saved by its exceptional men. The problem of education, then, among Negroes must first of all deal with the talented 10. It is the problem of developing the best of this race, that they may guide the mass away from the contamination and death of the worst in their own and other races. What is he saying? He's saying this. Those who are who become educated, we have to educate the top 10. The assumption here was 9 out of 10 black men on the lower run. 9 out of 10 of our race aren't that. 9 out of 10 of our race aren't that important. 9 out of 10 brothers don't have the mental capacity to be in the upper echelon of society. So we should pour into the 10. So what does that do for the rest of your people? Automatically, you're going to look down on. The perception is, as the member of the 10th, to have to guide you away from your what did it say? The contamination and death of the worst. We have to guide the masses away from those horrible people. It's 10 of us brothers in here, and I'm the only one worth anything. I have to guide the rest of these brothers out. That's the mentality. Absolute division of our people. Give Sister an eye and hand. Let's keep going, because this was something that was happening at this time. You think of the early 1900s, and again, this is before the establishment of any fraternity. All right. Let's see. Right. Think about this mentality, okay? And think about, again, Zephaniah 2:1. Matter of fact, let me pull that real quick. Anybody wants to write it down? I know most of us in the class already have it in our notes, but again, we want to make sure anybody who may not has it. All right. You working? Come on. Oh, lucky. There it is. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. Now, this is in the early 1900s. We're screaming like there's no way you can make a case in America at the time that we were not the nation not desired. There are people to make that case now, and it's a horrible case. Nothing supports it. But back then there was no way you can make that case. So we're supposed to be gathering ourselves together. This brother said, W.B. Du Bois said, hey, I'm part of the 10th that need to help you low-class ninjas get yourself together. Salakia. All right, let's go back. Salakia, more. Who knows, who has any perspective on Morehouse College? I said, it should be on a shirt. Well, you know what you do. Go side Christ, Salakia. Okay, you said no sweat. Morehouse College. We all know Morehouse College, and even if we don't, Morehouse College was an HBCU, or is an HBCU. Morehouse College is named after an oppressor. I don't know anybody who knew that. I did not know that. I know y'all shocked. Morehouse College is named after an oppressor. Let me see if I can get. Where is it? There it is. An HBCU is named after an oppressor. This gives you some perspective on our mentality back then, on some of our mentality when we were afraid. So, well, if you guys W.E.B. Du Bois was the author of the concept, meaning the time of the 10th, you were wrong. As my colleague Evelyn Brooks Higginbotham first noted in her book, Righteous Discontent, The Woman's Movement in the Black Baptist Church, 1880 to 1920, And again, that we talked about that as the first wave of the feminist movement that culminated in 1920 when they got the right to vote. All right. So the term was actually invented by a white man, Henry Lyman Morehouse, man for whom which the great Morehouse College was named. And 7 years before W.D. Du Bois popularized it in an essay by that very title published in 1896. Because again, this was in 1903 that W.E.B. Du Bois wrote it. But in 1896, Morehouse, this professor, says an independent magazine, Morehouse coined the term and defined it in this way. In the discussion concerning Negro education, we should not forget the talented 10th man. An ordinary education may answer for the 9 men of mediocrity. So nine out of every black man is mediocre. But if this is all we offer the talented 10th man, we make a prodigious mistake. Why? Well, because Morehouse continues, the 10th man, the superior, with superior natural endowments, symmetrically trained and highly developed, may become a mightier influence, a greater inspiration to others than all the other 9, or 9 times 9 like them. So again, this comes from a baseline. This comes from a baseline that 9 out of 10 black men are mediocre and what. And because of that, the talented 10th is who we should be focusing on. All right, let's keep going. I want to bring this full circle for y'all. All right. All right. Booker T. Washington at the time. Yeah, a little bit of backdrop on what we're about to read. They battled with this. He battled W.B. Du Bois. He thought it was nonsense. So they went back and forth with articles and essays and speeches and stuff like that. All right. Because Morehouse, without naming Washington, was taking Washington's position head on. Because Booker T. Washington's position was, we don't necessarily need a whole bunch of liberal arts degrees. We need brothers that can actually do some work. That ain't far-fetched. It makes a whole lot of sense. All right. And not to say that there's anything wrong with the college degree. There's nothing wrong with being educated. It's just not for everyone. That's all. One person may want to go to college and thrive there. Somebody else may just want to go get a trade and thrive there. Somebody else may think they want to go to college and flunk out and be stuck with a whole bunch of student loan debt. When maybe if they'd have stepped back, they were like, you know what? Let me figure something else out. And that's okay. And herein lies the problem. We have this perspective, and it persists unto now, that a college-educated black man or woman is somehow better than somebody who does not have one. And that's the problem. That creates an additional divide in our culture. And it's because we're following after these other nations. It's structured like the oppressor. It comes from the oppressor, as well as this idea that if you are in the top picks based on some arbitrary, because you get good grades in school, now you're something to be poured into. And everyone else is something to be left behind. As we were talking about earlier, if a brother or sister is in your organization, and you're probably gonna get a nod, you're probably gonna get a recommendation, so on and so forth. But what are you doing for the rest of the people then? You're just throwing them by the wayside because you're not in my organization. So, and again, the majority of us don't even have the ability to even to put ourselves in a position to be even considering it. Most of us don't go to college. At ISUPK, we don't have that. Every brother and sister is welcome. And there's some you got to do. There's some things you might have to change about yourself. But understand, we are not having group sessions, We're not encouraging any drunkenness. As a matter of fact, somebody gonna tell you need to stop, bro. And nobody's gonna haze you to the point that you have a broken jaw or a broken arm or you're unalive and somebody gotta explain to your family where we made them drink 10 gallons of water as some kind of initiation. That's not how it works with the people, with the most high's people. That's not how it's supposed to work. We're supposed to look out for each other regardless. Damn right, sis. Not having one is less debt. Right. Not having no other degree is less debt. Right. Exactly. It definitely is. But even if it's not, no brother should be looking down on another brother because he has an education or not. Or not. We are all here in this captivity. We should be bringing ourselves together under the law, statutes, and commandments and operating accordingly. And when we do that, then you don't have to worry about these fictional break-offs. And now we're further separated because, well, you didn't go to college. Matter of fact, you didn't go to college, so you're not in a fraternity at all. So you're not in my fraternity. I really don't know. I don't know what to do with you. I can't help you at all. That's not what we're doing here. The captains say it all the time. Every Passover, which is coming up in a couple weeks. Every Passover, brothers from the ISUPK invite other brothers. The General Yohana has had a standing order to come back to the truth. All camps need to come back to the truth. I don't know if anybody in the ISUPK that gets invited to anything else. That's separation. I believe, from what I understand, there have been invites to have conversations. Brothers don't take them up. That's how this oppressor has destroyed us. And we continue to be. Damn right, fact. Palm out your island, damn right. Right. Your sister I hand. She said that Greek letter should never mean more than being family. Exactly. Even if you have this twisted perspective that you are somehow in the upper echelon of your people, then what are you doing? Now, this is going to be another question I have. I don't see this, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't see a whole lot of community work being done by these organizations. Can anybody tell me that I'm wrong? Tell me how I'm wrong, where I'm wrong, where they do it. I'm not saying they don't do it all at all. But matter of fact, is that in this organization? There's another article I have that says there's over 800,000 members of Black Greek letter organizations. I don't see a whole lot of work being done. There are the upper 10, from their perspective, of your community. They should be doing a ton. The sister just said, what lawyers, doctors, senators, they got a ton of resources. What are they doing? I don't see a lot. I'm not saying they don't do any. I don't see a lot, and maybe I'm wrong. Correction or mean anything? I think you mean correction don't mean anything less. I think is what you mean. Salaki. Scholarships for more to go to school and get right. Now I do see that. I do see that. Let's get some scholarships away. They will get some scholarships away. But are they helping again with this idea that they're supposed to lead the masses into this great awakening or whatever? How are they doing that? I don't see it. But they do feed the machine, to Sister Aya's point. Sister Aya used to say they only do for them and no one outside. Exactly. All right, let's get back. We're coming up. I mean, we cleared over the time. We got a little bit left. He took his position head on because I repeat. Now, this is Morehouse talking again. It says, I repeat, not to make proper provision for the higher education of the talented 10th man of the colored people is a prodigious mistake. It is to dwarf the tree that has in it the potency of a grand oak. Who determines who these people are? So, industrial education is good for the 9. This is clearly separating people. Industrial education is good for the non. Mr. Not Nasai asks us often because he keeps our minds going on these things. How do you build a city? I'm gonna tell you what. You don't need no art and liberal art majors to do it. You need some engineers. You need industrial education to figure out to build a city and how to build a nation. But even in the 1900s, this was looked down on. Early 1900s, a lot. They're good for the non, but the common English branches, a lot. Industrial education is good for the non. The common English branches are good for the non. But the French man, like Dubois, whom he doesn't name, but is clearly thinking of, and I like Booker T. Washington. So again, and you got these two brothers butting heads against each other, and it's a pressure in the middle. He says those ought to have the best opportunities for making the most of himself, his humanity, and choice. Those other non-brothers, forget them. Forget them. They're really not that important. But this 10th man, we need to make sure he's got to be the best he can be for us. And this is the oppressor talking. Greek letters should mean nothing to us because we're not Greek. Whether it be Greek letters or Islam or Byzantine, we're not Greek. We're not these oppressors. We have our own culture. So, I used to say, yeah, someone say, what's up, dude? Listen, I'm assuming that you said they feed each other, but no one else. I'm assuming that was generally the answer you felt like you got. All right. I think was that the end of that? Here's where I wanted to go a little bit further. Because remember, the title of this was Who Invented the Talented Tent? Right? And how, again, you have to be a conceited person as a black man in the early 1900s to consider yourself to be in the upper 10th of your community. All right? This right, because what strikes me as fascinating about Morehouse and Dubois' concept of the supposedly elite 10% of the quote unquote race is that it accords almost exactly with the size of the free Negro population on the 1860 census. 11% of so-called the African American community was composed of free Negroes on the eve of the Civil War. And quite surprisingly, far more of them lived in the South. And it was this group of free persons to whom President Abraham Lincoln was referring when he announced in the last speech of his life that he advocated giving the elective franchise. What is that? The right to vote to the very intelligent colored man, and the one who's and on those who serve our cause as soldiers, who numbered about 200,000. So again, this is in the 1860s. Well, 11% of our people were free. Our men were free. Slovakia, the population. And that's where this kind of started. Because essentially, what Abraham Lincoln was saying was, well, we'll give it to the free black folks. We'll give it to the free black folks. Let's keep going. Because we add the number of free black men and the number of black soldiers, it's easy to see that Abraham Lincoln effectively introduced the notion of a privileged, talented tenth within the race who would be accorded more rights than the remaining 9/10. 3.95 million slaves who would really only be free when ratification of the 13th Amendment. So perhaps we should give Lincoln credit for this. Even more curiously, a month after Lincoln's 1865 speech, the Black Republican newspaper in New Orleans Shout out to Sister Nazama Nasalaki. She points out the concept of the talented tenth in an editorial it published as early as May 18th, when it noted the black poor are 9/10 of the colored population. So it's clear that the concept of talented tenth had multiple influences before Du Bois publicized in 1903. And then you take that idea, you run over there and get the okay to start the fraternities, and essentially you separate those who have the ability to get a quote unquote higher education, a formal higher education from everyone else. And then not only do you do it during college, it perpetuates over everyone's lifetime. And as we said, and they feed the machine. They'll give all the scholarships so people can continue to come in. But what does that do for everyone else? What does that do for all of your people? Absolutely nothing. You leave your people who don't have the benefit that you have to their own devices. What does that sound like? Sounds like pull yourself up by your bootstrap. This all perpetuates and furthers this idea of white supremacy. So like Sister I saying, they dumb enough to brand themselves with these letters. Right. Right. All of this perpetuates white supremacy. Why? Because it continues. That's what then they're able to do. Matter of fact, if y'all know anybody, I'm gonna give y'all that story. I don't think I'm gonna give y'all that story. That's a lot. If y'all know anybody, any groups of people who are in these organizations, there's a certain air that they may have. I'm not saying all of them do, but it's not surprising when they do. And there's this perception that they're somehow better than. There's this perception that look at me, I'm on your level. You do what you do. I'm not as bad as the rest of them. I'm one of the good ninjas. No, I got a Greek letter name. This is the problem. We don't bring ourselves together as the Bible says. I got a ton of scriptures I didn't get to. This is the problem. This is the problem with our people being under this oppression and in this captivity and not knowing who we are. We run to try to figure out how to be accepted by this oppressor. The reality is that those who are in fraternities and those who especially in fraternities, as a sister, listen, let me go back up and find that sister's list. It's good night. Doctors, dentists, lawyers, y'all name some more. A lot of your, like you said, CEOs and senators, and I mean, just so many of our people who have these high-paying, wealthy positions. They have multiple connections. They have all the. Listen, this was back years ago. I was in the world, and brother was trying to get me to join one of the graduate chapters, right? I was like, I don't know about all that. But so I was like, well, what's the benefit? And he talked about how they look out for each other. He said, you might have a brother, lose his job, so on and so forth, but the network is so big, you don't have to ask one person for X amount of dollars. You can ask 1,000 persons for X amount of dollars. They sit you straight, so on and so forth. That sounds good. That sounds good. But what about everyone else? What about your brothers and sisters who are in the ghettos, who are on the reservation, who are trying to come across the border to make something? They're trying to get out of Haiti. What about your brothers and sisters that are here who don't have the benefit that you had? This whole talented 10th idea is a responsibility that you're supposed to have based on your description. I don't see it. I don't see where they're out there feeding people. I don't see where they're out there clothing people. But they are giving away scholarships so their network can grow. So their children's network can grow. so they can further separate themselves from the rest of the nation because they're doing a little bit better on average than everyone. It's absolutely horrible. Uncle Oscar, yes, he said, I'm not gonna lie. My mom was in a Easter Star, and I used to get, and I use that to get out of a ticket. Hey, listen, I'm not saying there's no benefit to it. That's not my point. That's not my point at all. I'm not saying there's no benefit, but what I am saying is the way these things are structured, it throws the rest of our people away. It throws the rest of our people away. I mean, if they were, if they really had a heart for our people, they would be out here constantly uh, uh, um, recruiting. But that's not what happens. They was all walk around like, "Hey man, you need to come into the Masons, and you need to come in here. You need to come." That's not what happens. It is a small. I mean, it's large, but you understand what I'm saying. It's a there's this disposition. Matter of fact, I know of some brothers that are in the Masons. They told me outright, yeah, you can't ask to be in a Mason. Somebody has to invite you. Well, you should be, if you care about black people, you should be inviting every damn body. Right. You should be inviting everyone. But that's not what happens because it's structured in a manner that continues to separate us and continues to perpetuate the idea of white supremacy that some of us are better than others. Some of us are the good ones. Right. It has to be an elite group. And if you are not part of this elite group, then you are less than. That's what the UPK said. Come in here and be taught how to be a better man. You may not be there today. Matter of fact, you're not. Because you've grown up under this oppression in the Christian church and these elite groups. You don't know what brotherhood is. Come in and learn it. Come in and learn it. You're not special unless you're doing some work for your people. And even then, you're not special. Do that. Come in and put some work in so the rest of your people who don't necessarily have all of the benefit, who can't necessarily afford to go to college or afford to take on all kind of student loans, they maybe don't have the grades, but they still want to live a good life. Come in and do some work so you can get them to follow the law, statutes, and command. So then we as a nation can free. We as a nation can come up. But that's not what they want. They want to be elite. They want to be better than. That's not brotherhood. That's not sisterhood. Right. Listen, as Amanat said, I went to college, didn't join. But my used to be friends, when I used to be friends, looked down on me. Look at that. But did anyone put over 200 originally on a plane, on a plant job in second yard? So I get what you're saying. You put in work, sis. I know because you got a whole. But Most High in Christ, that sister, that's a great testament to that sister. That's what we should be. We should be having the love for our people. Understand, sis? Yeah. Sometimes I'll be slipping sometimes. So like it. We should be showing that love, that benefit. We should have a preference for our people, but it shouldn't damn matter if they got a Greek letter jacket. It shouldn't matter if they went to college or not. It shouldn't matter if they're in your organization or they know somebody who you know. If they're a Black, Latino, or Native American, we should be looking out for each other regardless. And that's how these Greek organizations continue to rip us apart from each other. Like the sister said firsthand, she felt like they were looking down on her. Right. And this is all out of a desire to want the love of this oppressor. You have to show this oppressor that, look, I'm doing the same thing you're doing to a group like yours. I'm better than the rest of those. You're better than the rest of those guys. All of us are. Look at us. We're trying to be like you. That's not how you build a nation. You follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Watch it. All right. We are almost at 9:30. If there are any questions or anything, y'all let me know. And if not, I'm gonna get to these security announcements. Being Greek, we are not Greek. That was one of the biggest things I never understood. How some Salaki, even before I was in the truth, as a black person, want to be Greek. That doesn't make sense. Black people in high positions are like, I worked hard to get where I am, and nobody gave me handouts. So the rest of us to work hard and that's being lazy. Listen, this is the problem. We talk about it often in this country. This is the problem. When you come up under oppression and you start doing a little better, you then look down on everyone else who came up in the same oppression. Now, mind you, they will say exactly that, sister. Now, ain't nobody ever gave me nothing, so on and so forth. But yet, this network is so awesome because it gets you all these benefits. But ain't nobody gave you nothing. Though. There's nothing wrong with having a network of brothers and sisters. That's what we should be doing. And it's not that nobody ever gave you nothing. We are supposed to be there for each other. That's what we're supposed to do. But this idea that I did it myself, so you go do it yourself again, even based on their perspective of this talented tech, that's nonsense. And what you're supposed to do if you're the talented tech is bring everybody with you. That's what's supposed to be happening according to the philosophy. But rather than do that, you leave everybody there. You're not, and I didn't even get into the terrorism part of it. There was a whole nother article I had. There's a whole nother terrorism issue with this. Anybody? I know I'm dating myself. Anybody familiar with School Days? That was a movie, but it wasn't far outside of reality. We follow this oppressive thing to our destruction, and we continue to do it over and over and over again. Coming to the UPK, as the sister said, you found UPK is awesome. Damn right. Come in and learn what real brotherhood is. Learn again that you're not special because you went to college or have a degree. You're not. You're not. What you should be doing is what you can for your people with that degree. It's what you can for yourself, or what you can for those who are close and in your organization. When we go out and we feed people, when we go out and we clothe people, we don't say, "Look, no, you're in the pressure. You can't do." Everybody's welcome. You know why? Because the scriptures say, "When the righteous are in power," and I'm paraphrasing, "when the righteous are in power, the people rejoice. When the wicked are in power, the people mourn. When we are in power, where we should be, the earth will be better." Because we don't separate our people, and we actually, even now in this wicked society, in this captivity, when we go out and we give food and clothes, we don't stop anybody. That's how you again build a nation and build a people up. And that's how you're righteous. All right. Driving the barrel, absolutely. A lot of sis, I appreciate it. All right, let's get to these security announcements. Salaki. All right, we're at the ISUPK, started out on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and the Commanding General Yohana. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They will be saluted only. They will here to spare themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother and sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. In this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find it in Numbers 18 and 21, or Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. It means 10. And in the Hebrew, it's pronounced Ishara. It's 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives you. You can give it to the Treasury Department, or you can go to ISUPK.com and pay it directly there. All right. Priest Fund, which is a free will offering for the priest, is not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming Holy Convocation days, obviously, we have the Passover. The Passover is like 2 weeks away. Just over 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks. Lucky. But again, there's going to be things going on starting on the 17th, which is a Wednesday. Lamb slaughter. Thursday, the Black Party. Friday, get on the Hyman's class. Saturday is Passover. And then the 21st, that Sunday, is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. All right. Again, make sure everybody registration fee is paid. Make sure your hotel accommodations are made. It's a little late now, obviously, but still, make sure you straight, double check, all that. We should have also gotten your information as far as your travel and plans to run above you, whether it be in this zone or any other zone that probably should have happened as well by now. So let's just make sure we are communicating effectively and doing what we're supposed to do. Again, we are not the Christian church. We actually care for our people, all right? We actually care for our people, so we want to make sure you get there safe. You're safe while you're there. You get home, all right? So that's just we're communicating, and that's that. If any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, he needs to be start wearing all black. That's black boots, pants, shirt, headband, and war scarf. All right. If any sister wants to be, you can't be a trooper, but if you want to be more than just a student, you want to actually be in the school, and you need to contact the school. All right. Members as well. You need to contact the school if you want to be a trooper. If you are in Virginia, that is 757-550-1204. That's the number for the school. And if you are in any other region or zone, you can go to Google, just type in ISUPK near me, and it should come up for you. All right. If it doesn't in any class, you can also ask that question. All right. And with that, the water, I appreciated the sister. Listen, there's always a whole lot of sisterly love. Mrs. Ramadan says she's so geeked to finally meet you in person. Most High Christ. Damn right. Damn right. All right. So with that, we're gonna give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbarakatam, and to the sisters. Shalom, Yahweh Shamar Alathan, Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right. And rock here. Get this right. All right. Shalom, Israel.
Israel, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, under commanding General Yohana, presents the Lord's 55th annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 55th annual Passover is rapidly approaching. Commanding General Yohana is calling for all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to remember what the Lord did for us by saving us from our oppressors and choosing us to be a special people unto Him, the real Jews and Israelites. Passover will be held in Durham, North Carolina. Pay your Passover fee. Anyone 17 years of age or older must pay $200. Come and enjoy fresh lamb, unleavened bread, and the Spirit of Christ. Can't wait to see you all there, Israel. Shalom.
Gathered on streets and corners, all is feeling righteous. Real particular, nobody else there to compare to. Train for war, men of war, and warlike apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us.
Israel, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, under commanding General Yohana, presents the Lord's 55th annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 55th annual Passover is rapidly approaching. Commanding General Yohana is calling for all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to remember what the Lord did for us by saving us from our oppressors and choosing us to be a special people unto Him, the real Jews and Israelites. Passover will be held in Durham, North Carolina. Pay your Passover fee. Anyone 17 years of age or older must pay $200. Come and enjoy fresh lamb, unleavened bread, and the Spirit of Christ. Can't wait to see you all there, Israel. Shalom.
Gathered on streets and corners, all is feeling righteous. Real particular, nobody else there to compare to. Train for war, men of war, and warlike apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us.
Israel, the Israelites.